How you all doing? I hope you're having a good day. Of course, starting late per usual. I've been super busy the past couple of days. A lot of things have been going on, and I just want to make this video with the short time I have today, just to put it out there. It's almost like I need to do a redo of the accepted for value video. I like leaving stuff up again if this is going to be on my Dash 2.0 because let me not get started. So over the last night while I was sleeping, well, I got up. I know I don't even have that many subscribers. They never let me get a following. I'm always so hated on. So I'm already on my last strike, guys. This is already a second channel that I'm trying to build up, as you can see, but they never let me get too far, right? I try to put the best information I can, and that's why I put up a backup channel. Alpha 7 Media, and this one here. If you're watching me on Dash 2.0, that's why you're watching me here. Sometimes I'll mirror certain videos, but I'm going to stop doing that because there's no need. Because I can already see Dash is going to be the primary one soon enough, because while like 3 in the morning, these damn shadow bots it was like 3 something, I got a notification that they took yet another video down while I still got 3 more days before they'll take off the ban. But that wasn't good enough for these creeps, right? They say right here, I don't know if I'm blocking. I don't like when my head does that. You see here, your content produced study reveals. So this is what I started my channel really talking about, not so much the law stuff. But you can't even talk about that too much here. I only go into the law stuff here and there to show. That's why I'm doing all the things I can so I can be in a situation and get out of the city so I can grow herbal medicines, right? It's like they don't want me to do that, guys. It's sick. Big Pharma has their hands in all the cookie jars, right? So, you see I didn't even spell out the word, right? I tried to be as creative as possible, and that still wasn't good enough, but that's an actual study, the Purdue study, and it did reveal that, what it says there. So if you want to Google that for yourself, I mean, obviously it's got to be true. If somebody's suppressing you and hates you for telling the truth or tries to demonize you, haven't you been shamed enough, guys? I know I have. I've been shamed. I've been called every name in the book just for trying to speak the truth. It continues to happen. It's dying down a little bit, but you know what I'm trying to say. And there are certain people waking up, that's great, but you gotta do your own reading, guys, because when I put up that accepted for value video, I learned since then more things, and I only give like little small things, but again, it can be way too much responsibility than I want to take on, right? I got 3 days left. See, just one more strike, blah, 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 eat shit. That's what they always do. They've been doing that to me for a while. You see what they do? You see all the shit they do to me? So a lot of us already put ourselves out there coming on, because I was watching other people yesterday too. Not complain, but kind of like break stuff down. Like, listen, this can really take a lot out of people. It takes a lot out of me too. Just to do my own processes, it's taken a lot out of me. And sometimes I go down certain roads. Like, you can't move like everybody you see, right? When you watch these videos, everyone's on a different level, okay? So just because one person's doing it, and guys, I'm really of the opinion now that if you're doing a particular process currently, do not share that out loud publicly. And they don't even have to submit, any type of gag orders with me. I already know, like, I have common sense. Like, a lot of these, truth movements also attract agents and shills too. And I've seen this bring the worst out of people, even people in my circle, right? Because when you try to teach people some of this stuff, they act like you're a gatekeeper and you have their interests and you have their assets and you, this, that, like, don't get it twisted, you know what I mean? Just because if the things that people are talking about in their videos are too vague, like, I literally just filled up another 8 pages of notes. Like, my fingers, this hand will never grow nails because I'm constantly, I was like, I did that before I even ate this morning, okay? A lot of us are gonna sacrifice ourselves to study, to show ourselves approved, not for someone just to be like, hey, get to the point, tell me X, Y, and Z. First of all, that wouldn't be prudent. We are all being listened to on these forums, right? I'm not going to ruin my chances for anything, helping a lazy person or someone, if you're new and you have a couple of questions, that's different, little things, right? But at the same time, it's like, I've been getting, like, people who are very, very entitled. And I see people in the comment section in other people's channels too, and they ask very loaded questions, guys. Like, you already heard what you had to hear in the video. Me, if you have an ear, let them hear, right? Kind of thing. Isn't that what the Bible says? So you can hear by how someone's saying things, how they're inflecting, what you should be writing down. They shouldn't have to say, do this, do that. Then you are acting like a minor, and you need to stay letting the corporation just handle all your affairs, because we're over here trying to be in control of our accounts. And that's the reason why a lot of people are not getting access to accounts, because some people are saying, oh, being an owner is bad, claiming your stuff is bad, secure, but it's more about, like, the defeating the presumption of abandonment and non-life, things like that. But there's things that can be done, and I went down so many rabbit holes. The passport, the this, the that, that's still a corporation telling you to identify yourself. So that means that you really got no state or things like that, because we're supposed to, like, make our own type of document saying, like, who we are. So I'm working on that. Like, it's going to take me a few days, because some documents on that caliber, it's good to have a witness or two, like, have a witness or two, But, like, there are so many people teaching different variations, and I don't want people coming on my channel and they're like, oh, this one said that. What do you think about this? And then the way people load their questions, like, it's so sad. Like, it's so obvious. You almost sound like an agent, because if you listen to a person, it's like, now, like, the masses are becoming so maniacal, right? And that's why you have to deal with people on an individual basis. If you have the spiritual currency, if I like your vibe, I'm not in it for donations or money. I don't even, you think people are generous like that, then most of us are going to come on here for that. Yeah, right, okay. I haven't seen, I've been on here for a while, and I've given people a lot of opportunity to prove themselves, to see their caliber, because I do that with people too, and it's just plain evident, and I'm not going to deal with fraudsters or cheaters, because if you want to do things without knowledge, you're engaging in fraud. You're engaging in fraud. That's all I'm saying. Because I wanted to go into, okay, start here, read over, I'll read a few words, some things I'm looking up to, and always going back to basics. People don't want to do that. Sometimes, my channel is not going to get the thousands or whatever, because a lot of times I'm going to be on here and I'm going to read to you. Yeah, I did sell the dresser finally this weekend. As you can see, it's gone, finally. Ooh, I got some space, and I got my little table there full of papers, but you know what I'm saying? So, Yeah, let me just read a little of these to you so at least you get an understanding. A lot of people don't want to watch the channel that are just going to read. It's so boring. Well, how else are you going to download this stuff? And your brain can only process so much. Remember, they have given us a lot of poison. It's a miracle how I can function sometimes. I have a lot of gastro problems. I have a lot of autoimmune problems. You think I'm gonna expect the corporation to take care? You know, I gotta use my mind and ask the Most High every day to show me how to do this thing. You know what I mean? Like, let's get it. You know, you gotta study all day, every day. You know, most people I've noticed, they'll start something and then after a month it's like, oh, too much. You know, you see that this generation wants a quick fix, right? That's why they get surgeries. Like, if you're overweight, you got to take your time. Like, get to the root problem, how you get there, fix what's going on in your mental, because it all started here. They took our head and they spun it all around, right? And we got taught everything backwards. So with my accepted for value video, I'm getting requests. It's so funny with all the topics that I talk about. It goes to show you what it is too, guys. You know, maybe eventually I will take it down. I mean, I did give good information. I don't want to just, you know, and you got to learn from a lot of different sources. You got to start somewhere. But it's not just, oh, you get a template, you flick it like a frisbee, and all will be well, because they have all these presumptions on record. So you got to rebut it, and you got to know things like affidavit. You got to know things like an attestation, different processes you can do. Some people go through the courts to do it. Other people say if you are a little savvy, you can do it yourself. You don't need to go make a court date and all that for it. You know what I mean? And so I'm going through stuff right now, and yesterday it was on some positive note that things were going in the right direction. Everything on my account was fine, but I'm just saying, because so many people are doing these processes at the same time, it's like holding shit up for the ones who started it first, because I'm like in a batch of like the guinea pigs that like did it, you know, some processes last month or whatever, and like now it went from, oh, everything's cool, to, oh, we might have a little snag, you gotta wait a little bit. And I'm just like, why? Because everyone's doing the same damn thing at the same time. It should be like some type of cutoff. Like, don't everybody tell everybody do all this at the same time, because it's not just about, oh, you're filing a couple of forms and then that's it, because there's other things that you have, adhesion contracts, you have a lot of things going on. So I'll just read a little bit of these words to you too, and a lot, you can tell a lot of creeps too. I know there's a lot of men out there who got a raw deal, right? I've seen men who were actually really good fathers and were alienated from their child. I've also known narcissistic men who claim to be good fathers and just want to dodge having to pay what they have to pay, right? Not to say you can't take care of it aside from Federal Reserve notes. I'm not saying that. But if you come to this process and your first question is, how do I get out of child support? What the fuck is wrong with you? How does that even sound? Why don't you learn how to settle it, right? With the different documents and title of place, right? And learn how to transfer your interest to settle and close the matter. No, but the way they come about it, it sounds very self-serving, and I've seen that with people that I've tried to help, and they got so weird, and you can see the evil in their hearts, because like when you'd get into certain disputes with them, or they will you know, almost like make things worse when you're trying to study, because you need a level of focus, and this is not a quick fix kind of thing. And then you let them know, hey, when I get any type of relief, don't come at me looking for any type of mentorship. And they really were trying to blackmail me almost. Like, oh yeah? Like, almost, I'm like, are you effing kidding? Like, I had to, like, cut them at the knees for even trying to go there with me. So, like, you come on and you try to, like, really be sweet. When I first came on YouTube, I was so green, guys. Just in a year, I've changed so much. And you're all wide-eyed and you try, but people will come and they'll, you know, some people, they think that they're doing you a favor. I don't get paid per view or per like or anything like that. So what the fuck do I care if you watch my video or not? I don't give a fuck. If you watch it, you don't watch it. If you watch it, you actually get a lot of information. You get some testimonials, you'll get some like real life experience, you know, you'll get like real outlook, right? But you think all these YouTubers that come on teaching, you think they're competing with each other for your whatever. No, they're coming on as a public service to try to help the people. And the people seem to think that, you know, they don't have any reading to do, you know, any responsibility. And of course we do, right? Because a lot of people don't even understand what these damn bills are, right? And that you really can't pay the bills, and it's not about discharging this debt, right? If there is no debt, and actually, again, that bill is coming to you in a positive number, right? So that's interest really due to you, but you didn't know that, and you have to know how to transfer it. And how are people gonna come on and be like, oh, let me show you step by step by step? Like, you can't, you know, that's a little bit too much. Sometimes that can be done privately. A lot of our channels get taken down when we try to do certain things like that. Some people do, some people don't, right? There's a lot of Masons even online teaching, you know. Hey, give the ones credit that are honest, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of misinformation too, like that redemption manual they're saying has a lot of misinformation. So if you're just going by one way of looking at it, you're going to miss the whole thing. So look up UCC 1-201, action in the sense of judicial proceeding includes recoupment. So this one little word, you know, will give you a lot. Counterclaim, set off, suit in equity, and any other proceeding in which rights are determined. Aggrieved party means a party entitled to pursue a remedy. That's what a lot of people are in these court situations. You can look at the court stuff a lot of different ways. You can make it a tax issue also, because I hear they file 1099 OIDs, right? Because we're the original issuer, we're the actual owner. They're filing a lot of these forms as nominees for the true owner. So there is merit to being the owner, because everyone's like, I just want to be a beneficiary. All right, yeah. Well, the beneficiary isn't the straw man the beneficiary? Supposedly, and you're the beneficial owner kind of thing. But because they don't have that on record, we have to identify ourselves correctly, but not with government issued identification, right? Because then you're saying you are that corporation. So aggrieved party means a party entitled to pursue a remedy. So you go down with these bill of lading, read the term bearer, means a person. So when you get a bill, you are the bearer in possession of a negotiable instrument. Guess what? It's a document of title. Are you kidding me? And so when they say, oh, and just endorse it and sign it without specific instructions, you know, that's why sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, because you're kind of giving them the rights to the title. Then what? Then they hold all the interest in it. It's like we're just signing it over to them, right? Or a certificated security that is payable to bearer or endorsed in blank. So there's certain language that needs to be used. So I literally spent 20 hours these past 2.5 days taking down notes, fixing my brain, my outlook, because every day my brain is struggling to understand, break down, dissect, chew, regurgitate all over and over again. So sometimes when we do a video, it can be no, like if you watch someone's video and then you come back like months later to their channel, or even a few weeks later, they can already be on to something else. People are now going into the tender of payment. That's fine. So I go into certain study modes too, because some of the process that I have now, I got so vexed. Talk about being an aggrieved party. This is me today. I'm very aggrieved, guys. I'm an aggrieved party. Because everything was going smooth, but again, another bump in the road. So I was told by my trustee to be patient, because we're in a batch of the first group that's done a large process on a massive scale, right? Like to acquire homes and vehicles. I heard somebody did get a car, and the car was approved, so that's great, and that was, over the weekend. So they doing the cars, so there, stuff is happening. But that update was yesterday. But then today I got an update, and I'm thinking, oh, but my trustee, so I'm thinking it's going to be positive, right? She's telling me that there's a snag, and that they want to just put one through this week to make sure, because it's like they don't know what's going to happen, because so many people are doing it at once. And it's like, why'd you take all those clients then, and all of a sudden you're going to act scary now? Like, don't even. So yeah, per the agreement, they need to make do on their agreement. But our bills are really bills of lading. So I'm going to give you another great reference that you can read too. It takes a lot of required reading, guys. I know people don't like it. It's boring. Yeah, sometimes it puts me to sleep. Sometimes I'm cross-eyed. Sometimes whatever. But I need to understand, like, and it does help your minds, because like if you're somewhere waiting for a long time, read this stuff over and over in your mind, Bill of lading means a document evidencing the receipt of goods for shipment issued by a person engaged in the business of transporting or forwarding goods. Branch, we already know that. But also you want to go down to documents of title. It goes into the term conspicuous. That's why when you write like a noticeable statement on your document of title, what you're trying to do, right? Some people put tender of payment. Some people would do the accepted for value. But you have to know the intricacies of why you're doing what you're doing. And a person, like, a man or woman who's teaching can tell, like, how far you are by the questions. Because some of the questions people are asking, you're like, oh, they just watched a video or two, and they didn't even do any type of legwork. So if you're not willing to do the legwork, how can someone else like help you if you can't help yourself? This was all about, reclaiming our freedom, not being declared dead or a child or an infant. Then we have to move differently and show them that we're not that. Stop acting like the debtor. You walk like it, you move like it. Making yourself act like a debtor, presuming that you had an obligation to pay this stuff, right? Fighting the facts, things like that. There are rules to the game, and every day I'm learning the rules too. So you see conspicuous term, you would write consumer. That's an easy one. Means an individual who enters into a transaction primarily for personal, family, or household purposes. Contract, as distinguished from agreement, means the total legal obligation that results from the parties' agreement as determined by the Uniform Commercial Code, as supplemented by any other applicable, I know sometimes that can be a tongue twister, laws. Defendant includes a person in the position of a defendant in a counterclaim, cross-claim, or third-party claim. Yeah, I got a situation on Wednesday where I gotta take care of this so-called $400 purported false debt from a third party debt collector, and I'm gonna be like, yeah, where's the contract between me and thee? And a lot of people don't even want to go into the courtroom. They say even when you send notices and acknowledge that's minimal contact, but at the same time, I don't want anything to be hurting my estate, so I'll have no problem going in with my notes. You think I'm going to go in there with anybody holding my hand? It's, the Most High is going to hold my hand. You think I want to go in there? No. But I did send them a notice saying, oh, okay, since I have to go in and defend my estate, this is how much I charge. It's $100,000, just letting you know this is what I want. And I did a cross claim for $10,000 against the plaintiff for fraud, because they don't have a claim. I have the superior claim, but I did file some things. I have more things to file. I didn't file everything, but having the knowledge is really important too. Being able to stand on that knowledge, because if anything, I'm like, oh, well, this is what it is, and this is the proof that I have so far. I'm still working on the other things, and if you would like to assist me as the fiduciary, right, that would be fine. So you can just, let them know who you are, right, and, start from there. But it goes back to the basics, and it goes back to a lot of reading, because a lot of these terms are used on us every day. So I implore you to really go into UCC 1-201 and digest on this whole thing, each and every one. I know it's really basic. I know other people have taught it. It's not the supreme law of the land. The treaties are, you have to go back to the Constitution for all that good stuff. So document of title includes bill of lading, so all our bills, dock warrant, dock receipt, just think about it, warehouse receipt, or order for the delivery of goods, and also any other document which in the regular course of business or financing is treated as adequately evidencing that the person in possession of it is entitled to receive, hold, and dispose of the document and the goods it covers. To be a document of title, a document must purport to be issued by or addressed to a bailee, and purport to cover goods in the bailee's possession, which are either identified or as fungible. You get this word a lot too, fungible portions of an identified mass. So to document by or addressed must purport to be by, so the bailee, they're the bailees, we are what? The bailers, because they're in possession of our accounts, right? Fault, oh, they're full of fault. So, I have this printed out, so even while I'm in court that day, waiting my turn, you don't think I recite a lot of the stuff in my head before I talk to these individuals? You have to. I've been in and out of court for many years for stupid shit. Mainly for child support, because a lot of guys, they'll spend money drinking and, with their new side hoes. But when it's time to, pay the children they make, they got a problem with that. I dealt with one for 10 years like that, so I don't have patience. So, unless I vet the person and know that they weren't the one at fault, or they're not allowed to see the child at all, that's different. Because I know men who are forced to pay for children that they're not even able to see, and that the children were turned against them. That's way different. So genuine means free of forgery or counterfeiting. So we are the holders when we receive these instruments. The person in possession of a negotiable instrument that is payable either to bearer or to an identified person that is the person in possession. What? That could be you, boo. Possession of what? That interest. Because it's a positive number. It's not, it's not a deficit. It's not something that needs to be brought up. they're supposed to like transfer that title back over to you and use the interest on that to, because I guess you have to use the matching principal that was created from the account. That's the only way you can zero the books. So this goes into accounting too. I know, big snooze fest. That's something that I wish I would have went into early on. So any of you youngins, right, if you need some type of major to get into accounting, people, the CPNs and all that, the CPAs of the world, they're going to be the real MVP soon. Right, just because they have already a lot of the background terminology and how a lot of this stuff works. So the person in possession of a document of title if the goods are deliverable either to bearer or to the order of the person in possession. You know, when people make their money orders, say pay to the order of the person in possession. So you see, money, of course, don't mean what it used to mean. It means a medium of exchange. Currently authorized. Currently authorized. I had to add that because it's really like money of account, right? Or adopted by a domestic or foreign government. So you got person, which that's why we say, we are not this person. It's an impossibility, Your Honor. You know, I'm going to go there really respectfully. You think I want to go there? You think I want to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning to like be all ready and professional looking? You know, I'm not going to sleep the night before. I couldn't even sleep last night. I got so much on my mind just going, right? And it's ridiculous, right? But I don't go as much as I used to. After this, I'm hoping that they will like forever leave me alone. I know some people say, oh, you can reject process and stuff. Yeah, you could do that, but I didn't give that enough time. I already sent a document in declaring ownership of my securities. But then even since I did that, and that was only a few days ago, I learned even more things I could have did to be better. Okay? And like when you do documents like attesting to your identity, it's good to have two witnesses, you know. It's good to have like your thumbprints and your own picture on there. So when you go into person, means an individual, see? Natural person. It's all creatures of the mind. It's all legal fictions. Business trust. Estate. This is perfect. I'm going to be like, I am not a person, Your Honor. You know? You just got to go in there with the right vibe. I know I have really bad history. Well, not too bad. Well, yeah. Because when I was younger, I was incarcerated for 2 months when I was a teenager. So that same court, they probably made so much. They probably filed so many 1099 OIDs in there. So I'll be in there. I'll be like, listen, if I have to ask for, I'm not scared to ask for an audit or a review of the ledgers associated with this trust. You know, ab initio. You know, back to the beginning. Whatever. There's no statute of limitations for fraud. And I even wrote to them, like, listen, if you find out you're writing appearance bonds, because that's what they do, they write appearance bonds on us. Like, I let them know, like, I was not scared at all, you know. Sometimes you can really doubt yourself, but it's the Most High, just like with Moses when he talked to the Pharaoh, you know. Yeah, you're not going to be comfortable in a lot of these situations. A lot of people are not ready to be uncomfortable. They just want to, you know, ask. I was watching a video and this gentleman was breaking down some stuff. And you can tell he was exhausted. And then then you got these like, I don't know, interesting characters. I'll be very tame today. They're like, so, blah blah, what do you think is the first step then as me, the living beneficiary man? Like they talk like a robot. Like who talks like that? Like, you didn't even listen to what the gentleman was saying. And obviously, if you're that green, then I would say the first thing you need to do is read. Read UCC. Okay? That's what you need to do. I just read you a couple of things. I'm not going to make this a long video. It's already almost 2 o'clock. And I got to work on my own document. I'm going to spend all of today working on this document, and if it's not one thing, it's another. For some reason, when I put the punctuation in my document, guys, it's bold. Like, I can't undo the bold, so it's really extra black, but then the rest is fine. But it's just doing that with the punctuation. But when you look at the font, the bold button is not even on. So I'm like, why is that doing that? Do you guys know? Please let me know if you know what setting is on when you're typing. But then when you add the punctuation stays bold. I don't know what I pressed. I must have pressed something, but I'm not even going to stress myself with that one. I'll just do it the way, let it be bold, that's fine. But just to even get, like, if you want your documents to be extra strong and have 2 witnesses attesting, some people, like Patrick Devine was teaching, like, you can do your right and left side, that's 2 witnesses attesting. But I would rather, have actual living people to attest with you, have a spot for them to sign. I know I have one person, one man or woman, I need to stop saying person, but it's hard to get people together at the same time to even go to these notaries, right? So I'm like, how am I going to get the other one to be there at the same time? Or should I ask one of my notary friends, because there's like 2 women who do the notary at the bank I go to, so I'm like, maybe I'll ask one. I mean, she can clearly see I'm alive, right? You have to get creative. Just doing this one step for myself to help with the other things can take me like 3 days, because you got to get in your head and really, really analyze how this thing's going to go before you manifest it, kind of thing. You know what I mean? Before you bring it into fruition. It all starts up here, guys. You know what I mean? You really have to get at least that going, because, I did another video and then this girl's asking me like 1,000,001 questions, like, well, how do you do that? Like, you think I just did a video. I didn't say I'm a teacher in this aspect that I'm going to exclusively do this. I do this in the meantime because I'm trying to be financially competent just like anybody else, right? And I am a bookworm. I have no problem reading. I can come, it's the time I was born. I'm not into zodiacs in any way, but I was born in the middle of July, right? So we can be hermit crabs. You already know. We're quick to shut down from the world. So when we're in our little shells, we'll be reading, we'll be doing all this, printing all this stuff out. I got the Constitution right here. Oh, I wanted to show you. I was going to go into the Constitution. I just don't have that kind of time for everything today. Let me get my head out of here. Sorry. The Transfer of Property Act. This is going to be really educational too. I could go in this another time. See, I'm all about the resources. You see how that's 72 pages, right? You see that, right? Yeah, it ain't fun to do all that, but the people who will put their head down and at least try to gain a little understanding, yeah, that's called investing in yourself. That's called leveling up. A lot of people just think leveling up is putting a pound of makeup on, wearing clothes too tight for them, and prancing around like an idiot, which I see online all the time. I'm like, yeah, you'll be alright. So this is actually more self-love, taking the time to understand what the hell you're doing, because that's the problem with this world. We're dealing with confusion, and I don't want to add to that in any way, and everyone's on different levels. Do not put this type of pressure on the YouTube creators. If you see one person talking about this, and they're on different levels just like you, dummy. They're in different levels. So who is the viewer to watch who is seeking information gonna all of a sudden become the judge, jury, and executioner? I think it's funny, and be careful, guys, because a lot of people will approach you in the name of help. And I've had some people approach me funny, and I know that there were agents to see like how I was or something. Like it was because you can get different vibes from, what it is. If it's like, someone who is seeking information and you offered a template, or you could tell good faith correspondence. It's not hard to tell. So the Transfer of Property Act is also relevant to all this, because some people are limited with some of the resources, right? Okay, so this will go into how to transfer personal property. Goes into a lot of explanations too. Goes into immovable property, attested. When I was saying attestation in relation to an instrument means and shall be deemed always to have met attested by 2 or more witnesses. So some of my documents weren't landing the way I wanted it to, okay? So this right here will, it shows you straight up that it has seen. So when you get some of the documents created, getting 2 witnesses. And I know people are pressed for time, because I tried to do one to not bother the individuals to come with me, but you don't want to take shortcuts. Because guess what? Taking these shortcuts are going to make you have to go back and revisit the topic again. And it's going to make the process longer for you. Because now I am like literally out of paper, guys. I went through almost 1,000 sheets in a week and a half. Okay? Sometimes you're going to go through a lot of mistakes. That's how you learn. Getting your hands dirty, getting in it. So you got to get the documents. It will help to get them attestated. Okay, having a section where they say, yes, this is the individual. I see them here. They're breathing. Or has seen some other person sign the instrument in the presence and by the direction of the executant, or has received from the executant a personal acknowledgement or his signature or mark, or of the signature of such other person, and each of whom has signed the instrument in the presence of the executant. But it shall not be necessary that more than one of such witnesses shall have been present at the time. That's interesting. So you only need one to be present. That could be helpful. Am I reading that right, or am I being slow? But it shall not be necessary that more than one of such witnesses shall have been present at the same time, and no particular form of attestation shall be necessary. So you just make a little statement there. So they can just sign, so it's attested. So that could be helpful for what I'm trying to do, actually. Because if you can't get 2 people, you can have them sign in front of you. I'll have to read this a little bit more again, because it says right here, in relation to an instrument means. So right here, so you need each of whom had seen the executant sign or affix his mark to the instrument, or has seen some other person sign the instrument in the presence and by the direction of the executant, or has received from the executant a personal acknowledgement or his signature or mark. So that's strange though right here. But it shall not be necessary that more than one of such witnesses shall have been present at the same time. You can always get it notarized first, guys, and then have the one with you. And if there's another individual that you're pressed and they can't, then have it notarized with the one, and then have the other one sign it afterwards. Because I have that situation where I have people to sign, but they're not always available. to go to the bank with you when the bank's open. Sometimes, you know, it'll be after hours, and then you're like, what, how are we going to do this? You know what I mean? You don't want to impose yourself on anybody either with a lot of this stuff. It can be really daunting for the people around you because they might not have the grit that you have and the stamina, and they don't see it in their head what's going on, you know. So it can be really, you know, that's where a lot of faith comes in. And obviously, you know, if they know that you have good intentions, right, then, you know, that's why they were with you in the first place, hopefully. Then, you know, that should carry you guys through, because it's going to be difficult. You're going to have a lot of challenges with people in your circle. But the Transfer of Property Act of 1882, really great reference. This is a PDF. Go find it and get it and download it. I just backed it up. It says here, printed 17th February 1882. And I'm not talking about everybody in this video, of course not. But you see what they do here. It's like constant. You know, I say too much or whatever. So like even, I know it's all like it's all holistic stuff, because this is really my forte going into this. Of course I love law too, always. Because when I was young, you know, I went to school thinking I was going to become a lawyer. To that, I realized that they were, you know, British agents. And I was like, I'm good, you know, but I can do it in other ways now, right? And the Constitution for the United States of America, really interesting. I'll go through this another time. More required reading, guys, because a lot of people are like, oh, the UCC is the law of the land. Like, no, it's the treaties are the law of the land. The treaties are still in effect and things like that. But when you're dealing with commerce, yeah, you see how they try to line a lot of the stuff out, and they try to replace with the 14th Amendment. We all know with the 14th Amendment, did I hear anything past the, you know, what was it? It was only supposed to be the 10 amendments, the Bill of Rights, you know, because anything past that was like superseding, you know, the original intent. You know, a lot of people have their opinions on the rest of them too. But you have the office of honor, trust, or profit. You get a lot of information from the Constitution. And I guess it, you know, everything that's happening behind the scenes, they're going back to a republic. It's great. You know, it's great. And yeah, I want to do my part in helping with that, with any type of education that I can give you guys. But guys, it becomes like almost like an unfair obligation, because then you got some people who are like, oh, you know, you don't break it down good enough. They say it to different people. They're probably thinking it with me too. That's nobody's job to have to do that. We're not the ones holding your property. Okay, we gotta do our due diligence as well, right? Because a lot of us are doing this stuff and learning at the same time. And, you know, because a teacher is always a student, always a teacher, always a student. It's like two faces of the same coin. You can't stop educating yourself. Has to be every day, all day, right? Because our memories have been so short. We've been chemically inundated. We've been abused. We've been, you know, we've been demoralized. We're not going to be what we used to be. You know, we have to undo all the damage they did to us. Our memories are not great. So you have to take your time with it and really don't worry about it if you're not going to get it right away. You know, but you have to have good intentions too, right? A lot of it has to do with that, right? And if you have good intentions, you're going to have a little bit of patience. A lot of people are doing this process all at the same time, and I don't want to sabotage my own process. So just be careful teaching something that you're currently doing, because you're going to have like a mass mob doing it at the same time, and it's going to hold it all up. And I think that's what's going on now, guys. So just be careful, and please appreciate the YouTubers who are teaching you guys. It's not easy, it's not always fun, but we love you and we do the best we can. So have a great day. I'll talk to you soon.